I am here.
Slice is still here? Or has he just muted himself for eating?
No, I don't think so. I want to attack him.
There we go. All right, I'm here.
Hi!
Hello.
Podcast, yay.
Woo.
Yay.
Did we cold open? Are we starting right now?
Yeah, we started a little while ago.
Gotcha.
Christmas and New Year's happened.
It did.
It did. Those
They
things
did,
happen.
brother. Yeah. They happened.
Did everyone have a good one? I hope.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
Is there a story there you'd want to share, or is it just it went bad?
Not a fun one. Yeah. Stepdad is still kind of sick, and to the point where he kind of had a lot of. He couldn't eat his Christmas dinner. So, all of us sit down at the dinner table and everything's plated up and he just can't. And that was a little rough. Oh well. Still good to see them though. Great to see them. Spend time and stuff. For the post-holiday episode, that was probably a really shitty and depressing way to open the episode. I probably should have just not said anything. Oh well. Shit.
No, times are bad. It happens.
Yeah. Oh well. It was good to see them again. And New Year's was a weird night, just in general. Because, I don't do anything for New Year's. So I did a dumb thing, which was just fucking. There was a live stream going on that was Countdown to 2022 with Virgil. And it was just playing Devil May Cry songs until the fucking New Year's.
Oh, that's what you're talking about you linked the live stream of them just playing DMC music.
Yeah. I was just yeah, okay, I'll listen to that. That's a good dumb way to spend New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I'm into it.
But got a little motivated, I guess. So I started finally cross-posting all my shit to fanfiction.net.
Yeah, I saw that. All my notifications were blowing up.
Yeah. 7 a day or something. Yeah.
I was like, he's doing it.
It's the most active that folder has been in a while. It usually doesn't get that many updates that quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been a thing, Nice to get even more measure of the stories people care about and the stories people don't, via which fandoms are big and which aren't. So, I get 5 followers to this day of the Kingdom Hearts one, because no one cares. And then, of course, the High School DxD one blows up, because of course it fucking does, and the Naruto one. So that's how that do. Oh,
yeah, that sounds right.
I got reintroduced to how people on fanfiction.net do when it comes to reviewing and talking about stories today.
Toxicity?
Yeah. So someone just reviewing my story, telling me everything that they think is in the story, every single bit of it being entirely wrong. And then when I point out how very, very, very wrong they are about what they think my story is, they say, "Shut up, I wipe my ass with your garbage story that I haven't read."
Interesting. That's an approach.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, buddy. I just want... I'm not even offended because, how can I be offended? He didn't read the story, so what's he insulting?
Someone has basically knocked on your door and started screaming at you over what they think is in your yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or what they think is in your garage? Yeah, that fits better.
Yeah, it's it's just a weird thing. So I just decided, all right, I'm gonna do my best and just okay, buddy. Declaring something is garbage before you've read it, it either makes you at best an asshole or at worst a child. So maybe don't do that in future. Okay, I hope you listen, but you probably won't, and that's fine because I will literally forget about this interaction tomorrow, and I will because he's not even talking to me.
There you go. You got a fun story out of it, and that's probably more value than he could have provided literally any other way.
Yeah, it's just kind of talking to a person he has invented in his head. So, saddest part of it is his name is also Casey. So,
Oh.
But it's gamer Casey. It is XX Casey XX. So,
Oh, the evil version of you. Okay.
Yeah, the sinister. He's got a goatee and everything. Like, fucking.
He just screams the N-word all the time. Fucking gamers there.
Oh boy. So yeah, that was a fun experience. Just like, wow. Okay, I've been posting on fanfiction.net for 4 days. This is what I get. Yep, this is familiar. This is I remember this. Yep. Okay.
Oh right, this is why I left.
Yeah, pretty much. But you take the good with the bad. So but yeah, that's a lot of work. Is putting everything up on there because the upload process is shit.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, they added a copy and paste feature, so you can actually do that now. It fucks up the formatting, so you've just got to clear all the formatting and edit everything again yourself. But
man, I hope you remember where those line breaks were, or when those italics were, or the bold, or anything that you've done.
Yeah. The fun one is Scumbag Hero Academia, because that one, originally it was written in present tense, which was a fun experiment that after writing it for 34 chapters I have decided was a failed experiment and it doesn't actually work very well. So as I'm doing this, as I'm cross-posting it, I'm going back and editing every chapter as I post it. So I've got to edit it on QQ first, so I can save that as the past tense version on QQ. Then I port that text over to FFnet, and then I need to edit that again so I can put in all the formatting.
Present tense is always one of those things where it works for a very particular type of story, but most of the time past tense is just going to be better.
Yeah, like my thinking was present tense can be very good in making things flow in the moment. It's a bit more impactful of things. This is happening right now. Whereas past tense, this has happened. It's telling you from a future perspective.
Yeah.
This is what happened. So that's what I was going for, just for that impact, and it kind of worked. Like it's still one of my most popular stories, so obviously there was something to it. But
until you get to the point where there's not a lot of action, and then you begin to be like, how do I continue to use this tense and make it interesting? And then you get to run into that sort of problem.
Yeah, which I think over time I did get to grips with that, and where it actually came out pretty well. But it's just a lot more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty much been my experience with anything but past tense.
Like first person present tense, that works fine. Not third person present tense is awkward and clunky and takes a lot of work to get it to flow right. And like I say, I think I got it, but it
works very well in a D&D type setting. When you are doing a tabletop RPG and you are the DM and you are talking to them and telling them what's happening. But in terms of like writing, it always is one of those things where it's just hard to get right. Sometimes the story needs to be such that that is the only tense for it, if that makes sense.
So yeah, that's the lion's share of the work in doing this, is just meticulously changing the tense and making it flow in past tense instead of present. So yeah, but, it's getting done.
I can't believe you're doing it that way. Don't you have Google Docs with these files on them?
In a lot of cases, no. For one thing, it would take a long time. It would take about as long to search through my fucking Google Docs to find all the documents that I do have for those. And for a lot of them, I don't have them because most of these stories were written as Patreon stories, and for a while, I just posted those as raw text on Patreon posts.
Oh.
Yeah, I only recently started using Google Docs, right around the time that Google Docs declared that they were going to get rid of all smut on Google Docs. So, that's good timing.
They keep saying that, though. Like, this isn't the first time they've said, oh, we're going to crack down. Promise this time. For real.
Well, we'll see what happens. Like, there are alternative. I think Dropbox has a service that is similar.
There are quite a few text-based, or at least file hosting things you can easily quick get text documents off of.
Yeah.
Or whatever document you have that is text, PDF or DocX or whatever.
Yeah. So it's a mild inconvenience at worst, but like, fuck, god damn, the timing. Yeah. So also, eat a dick, Google. Just gonna tell you, just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Google has anything to worry about as far as sponsors go. They're Google. Where else you can go?
Kind of. Like,
so this is entirely them deciding that they want to be small-minded and shitty.
Yeah. I don't even know. Well, oh well. That's them doing them. They'll be shitty whenever they feel like it because they're Google. Because they are Google. Enunciate, Casey. And they can pretty much get away with whatever they want to do. So that's what they do.
They're blunted by their own stupid decisions unless they make them on a gigantic corporate level. So
yeah. So that was my Christmas and New Year. I didn't really do anything special for the occasion. Did anyone else do cool things for Christmas and New Year specifically?
Well, Christmas, got presents. Got a lot of presents for my family and friends. Was gonna get something for you, Casey, I remember, but he said to pass.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I appreciate the thought, but...
Slasher, you want anything for a late Christmas?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And I got a few games. I got Guardians of the Galaxy for the PS5.
I hear that's quite good.
SMT5, Monkey Ball, and I think I got something else I'm not remembering right away off the top of my head. But I also got this kind of like a bathrobe, but it's made of that bamboo fiber that's really, really soft. As well as bamboo pajama pants. So those are really comfy.
Bamboo?
Yeah, it's super soft, dude.
I
So
We'll
good.
have to take your word for it because all I can think of is the giant fucking sticks.
No, yeah. But like the bamboo fiber, like that stuff is soft. It is like the best substance in the world for clothes. I swear. I have bamboo sheets, for example, and a bamboo shirt. I have like two of those.
I mean, you live in California, so presumably it's like thin and breathable kind of
It's
clothing.
yeah. It's it's just good. Yeah. You have to get them from like specialty shops.
Hmm.
Um, but totally worth it. Most comfortable clothing I own. Um, yeah. I got a bunch of other stuff. I basically for my parents just like just I want these like couple video games, and then they just give me whatever else. And they got me like I have a Midoriya statue over here. He's a Deku in mid jump, about to flick his finger with the arms and leg guards. So it's actually a pretty
Oh,
good little statue
Cool.
in full costume. Yeah. Uh, you know, Dawn baked me candy cane cookies for Christmas.
Uh,
It's like they're like kind of thin cookies that have bits of candy cane mixed in. Very interesting.
so like M&M cookies, but instead of M&Ms, it's peppermint
Kind of like that,
chunks.
yeah.
Interesting. I can see that working well.
And also one of those. Have you ever seen those like poppet things? Like big, and they're kind of like simulate the effect of bubble wrap, but you can just do them forever. They're like a fidgety tool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anytime I am holding that, I lose myself in it.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It's very good at helping me to not get distracted, I guess, by distracting me with my hands at least, so I can focus on other things. It's actually a nice tool to have. Um, so Guardians of the Galaxy, I did beat that game already. That is very much based on the comics rather than the movie. In fact, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is kind of like because you unlock costumes for the characters, and when you unlock their Guardians of the Galaxy movie costumes, it's just like, yeah, no, Quills keeps pitching us this movie, and he's saying that this would be our costumes. I don't really know about this though.
Hmm. I appreciate the attempt to in-universe explain why they might eventually sell microtransactions of movie outfits. If that's a thing. I
Uh,
don't know if they or what.
no, all the costumes are unlockable in game.
Ah, gotcha.
You don't buy them,
hmm.
at least as far as I know. There might be some that you buy, but I got pretty much most of them just through playing the game and exploring. By the way, this game has choices that you make.
Yeah.
Moral ones?
You can choose different ways you can talk to characters and different choices that you can make in interactions because you're playing Star-Lord the entire time. And depending on which path you take, things will be easier for you or harder. So if you, like, say, mess up a social encounter, you could end up with a significantly harder puzzle or combat encounter later, which I appreciate. It kind of juggles that element in there, and I don't know. It felt like the relationship between the Guardians of the Galaxy was really important because I could screw it up
Hmm.
and say the absolute wrong thing.
I hadn't really thought about that before, but yeah, that's interesting.
Because you can choose to just not talk to them when you're in the ship and just go on to the next mission, or you can talk to them and like learn more about them. There's one like instance that comes to mind where you can reach a pit and there's like no way across the other side that you can immediately see, and Drax is like, "I will throw Rocket. He will make the rodent will make it across," and Rocket's like, "No, no, 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 don't." And you can choose, yeah, no, Drax, go ahead, throw Rocket. Or you can be like, nah, we're not throwing Rocket, Drax, not again. Come on. And Rocket will appreciate that. But you'll have to, go through a bit of a longer sequence to get over to the other side and exchange.
Yeah. I feel like that was a sequence that they included in the gameplay demo. Of that specific, I feel like I've seen that specific bit. That's what I'm saying.
It comes up again. He tries to throw him again like later on, and you're just like, Drax, we talked about this, which they reference your previous choices.
Of course, he's going to try again.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool that it pays attention to the fact that they're doing it again. But come on, we've done this. Don't. That's cool. I like that.
And like, well, it's not like there's like a bajillion multiple endings or anything, but the fact is that I felt like my choices really mattered, because anytime I would do something, it would come up later on, and in like discussion or even just quips and dialogue. This game has a lot of dialogue, so much dialogue. So much that I would actually say that at times that can be a bit of a detriment, because it is, if you move forward too much, sometimes you can miss some dialogue. But also it's really, really nice, because if you go running off exploring, like, hey, where the heck is he going? Peter, He's like, I'm just scouting. The characters acknowledge what you're doing, and it makes it feel very immersive.
The characters acknowledge that you're playing a video game without directly saying this is a video game.
And Peter always has a different quip for why he's going off on a random direction away from the intended progress.
I'm vaguely reminded of Deus Ex, when you could do stupid shit in the base hub location, where if you went into the women's restroom, it would send an email to your computer and be like, hey, fuckhead, no. And shit like that. And you could jump on the couch and there would be an email sent out to everyone being like, hey, don't vandalize the furniture. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad we're starting to see that kind of stuff again in games.
There's even this whole ongoing sort of running gag where the fridge door is just always open. And if you choose, you can always just go over, walk over, close the fridge door, and every time you turn your back, that fridge door's open again. Every time. And the more you do it, the more the rest of the cast will be like, who left the fridge door open? Was it you? No, it wasn't me. Was it Groot?
So the more you bring attention to it, the more they'll acknowledge it, essentially?
Yeah, kind of. It's like, why don't you just fix it already? Also, Groot, despite only saying I and M and Groot, still manages to have a lot of character, which I enjoy.
I feel like they very much set out to do that with the character. They had that knowledge in mind that, this is going to be a shit show if we fumble this.
Because you go and you talk to Groot, and Peter's like, I have no idea what you're saying, but I think that might be what you're saying. And you can kind of pick up a little bit of what Groot's intending by the intonation and the body language, and sometimes he'll laugh, and that kind of clues you in. So, all the social stuff and the story stuff is really interesting. I actually really like the story for this game. Is it kind of it starts off with you trying to go get paid and do a big job for and catch a monster for Lady Hellbender, the monster queen who likes to collect monsters. But you end up going to a restricted zone and then end up getting caught by the Nova Corps. And well, things continue on from there. And as they go through various adventures trying to get paid, pay off their fine that they have to deal with, and eventually stumble onto something pretty big. The combat, though, is very fun. Because you are playing Peter Quill, so you are basically, you got your rocket boots and you got your guns. But you also can command all the Guardians to do their different abilities. And you can unlock new abilities for them. So, for example, Rocket throws throws like a grenade, and that explodes and defeats a bunch of enemies, or does a lot of damage to a wide group of enemies. But later on, then you can unlock another ability, which is like a grav grenade, which draws all the enemies into one location and levitates them in the air so they can't do anything. Which you could then combo with somebody else's ability. And then everybody has their own sort of special, unique ability that they get once they have their character development and kind of open up about something. And those are on like a special cooldown. And Peter has his own abilities as well that you can unlock. I think the first one is it allows you to basically fly around on the jet boots and just shoot at things while you're in the air. Make it a little bit easier. But you can also like tell the Guardians like, "Hey Drax, go throw that explosive barrel at those guys." Hey, there's something up in the air. Gamora, can you cut that rope? Cause it to fall. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So is it universal that players or characters or whatever get more teamwork abilities as they get stronger, or is that just that person? Or at least more synergistic abilities.
Well, I would say that everybody, as you unlock more abilities for the Guardians, you definitely get incredibly powerful because of how everything synergizes together, and that really gets to shine once you activate the huddle ability. So you have this bar that kind of builds up, and once it's fully built up, you can do a huddle where everybody comes in and they're all talking, and you have to find you have to choose one of these things to say to them to motivate them, whether they're being cocky and be like, "All right, guys, stay focused," or they're being, "We can't win this." You're like, "No way, kid, we can do this. We just got to work together." And once that happens, you go into a super mode for a brief bit where 80s music plays, and you can use all of their abilities with no cooldown whatsoever.
Of course.
So you can just spam all of their abilities. What was that, Slicer?
I said, well, that's pretty great.
Yeah, and like one time I was doing it, and then Never Gonna Give You Up starts playing, and I'm like,
God.
Yeah, I could do this.
I can't decide whether I would want people to want the characters to be like annoyed by that song or to react in a specific way to that song.
But like, good music choices, and that sort of super mode really shows you just how powerful the team can be when everybody is working together. And there's just the game does a good job using gameplay for the sake of storytelling, I guess. One kind of minor thing that happens is normally, like, if you're trying to make your way through an area, you'll have to tell Drax, move that thing over there, or Gamora, cut that thing so we can advance, right? But towards the end of the game, they'll just do that stuff without you telling them, because you're a team now.
Oh, okay. I appreciate the working in of story development into game mechanics.
Yeah, you don't need to tell them to do everything because they'll start doing it on their own, and you guys trust each other, and I like that. I want another of these games. Give me a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty successful as a game, so it might happen.
Drax is hilarious, by the way. He's at first kind of the problem child, but every time you go fight something, he's just so hyped up. This entire part where he'll, if you allow him to, he'll teach you a Catathian war chant. And everybody starts doing the war chant together, and then as you're going off to fight the thing, you guys just start randomly chanting in the middle of it.
That's so fucking cool.
It's just great. It's a great game. Of course, you could be somebody who says, no, we're not going to do the war chant, but why would you ever do that? It's the best option. Yeah. So that was that game. Highly recommend you go pick that up. I think it's on PS4, PS5. Is it on PC?
I think it's on Steam. I think.
Yeah, it's probably on Steam. So, and Xbox probably if it's on Steam as well. So,
yeah,
everything
that's on Xbox is on PC by default. So.
But yeah. They do build up some stuff for the next one, so excited to see if they, if / when they do a sequel. I also saw the speaking of sequels, I saw the new Matrix movie.
Right.
Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, that thing exists.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really. I'm not speaking from judgment. I just know it exists as a thing that exists.
I have had a lot of time to think on the movie, and I don't like it that much. Normally, I would say in the first couple Matrix movies, typically, even in the third one, you see a lot of things that you haven't seen before, right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of interesting concepts and things explored. The concept that they explore so how do I say this? In this movie, Neo is stuck in the Matrix. Again.
Okay.
And he is basically led to believe that everything in the last couple movies was just him having a psychotic breakdown. And he's being gaslit super hard. In this Matrix, he is a video game developer. And the video game that he has developed is The Matrix. 1 through 3.
Is it obvious if you're just watching the movie to the viewer that he is being gaslit? Like if you started this series,
it's obvious that he's being gaslit because you don't actually start with him. You start with this other girl who's entered into the Matrix, and she's watching a scene from the Matrix, and she's like, no, this isn't right, and all sorts of weird stuff. It's weird. Okay, but they have this meta commentary where the CEO of the company wants Neo to make another Matrix, even though the trilogy ended so well.
Sure.
And Neo is having a panic attack, and they're just like, well, you know what we need? We need more. Like he's in like a boardroom with a bunch of other people. It's like we need more bullet time. The kids like bullet time, and everybody's throwing in their ideas of what a new Matrix should be. And I'm watching the new Matrix, and I'm thinking, is this the point you're making, that there doesn't need to be another Matrix, but you made another Matrix?
It seems that way.
You're kidding me. None of the action scenes were memorable in this movie.
Not super surprised.
The only times that were memorable is when they do the same thing from previous movies. I mean, like the same exact shot that you've seen before.
So they did the jump in the air, everything stops, pan around, and then flash kick kind of thing.
They did one particular scene that sticks out in my mind where, you know, when Neo's against the wall and Agent Smith is punching him, and he's got like the particular speed up to show like he's punching him super, super fast. Like there's like a blur effect on his fists.
First snap kick, not flash kick. I apologize. And vaguely, yes.
Yeah, they do that scene again from the exact same camera angle.
Oh, great.
But it
becomes like complicated. It sounds like, because on the one hand, yeah, I've seen this already, but on the other hand, that kind of sounds like it's the point. Like, yeah, we've done this already. There's nowhere else to go than just doing the same thing again.
It feels like a TV special at times, rather than a new movie. And there's like one thing that's really interesting, which is like they get out of the Matrix for a bit and you get to see what the world has become, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting, but we don't explore that.
Is it as bad as the first movie would imply?
It's not like the world is super crappy anymore. It's like things are starting to look up for the world, and there's hope, and things are actually going somewhat okay. And I would actually rather stay in the outside world and explore that than go back into the Matrix. Because it's not cool in the Matrix. Nothing about the Matrix is cool in this movie.
You know, it would have been a weird and interesting way to take the fucking a new Matrix movie.
Yeah.
You know how everything sucks now? Mm-hmm. Say the Matrix is broken. Like, the Matrix is supposed to be like this paradise world of, well, not paradise, but, you know, a simulated world where humans don't really need or want to escape it because they don't know they should. But, like, at the same time, it's not really a place they would want to leave. Whereas now everyone kind of wants to die a little bit.
You would get billions of people being like, hey, no, put me back. Fix it. Put me back. This is shit.
Yeah. So maybe explore that a little bit. Like, everything sucks, and there are massive amounts of people that suddenly wake up and realize, oh, everything's shit because this isn't real and everything's broken.
No,
something like that.
It's instead, here's Agent Smith, but Agent Smith is in a new body, so we don't have the same actor anymore. And he doesn't even really act the same to begin with. He's kind of a different character, but we call him Agent Smith. Here's Morpheus. It's robot Morpheus. It's Morpheus, but a machine. Machine Morpheus.
Roborpheus.
Yeah, I'm just coming back to this. That sounds shit. It's supposed to be shit. That's what I keep coming back to when you're telling me more about this film.
But why make this movie?
Because the suit said make another Matrix movie.
Like, this movie has no
Is it even the Wachowskis?
Yeah, it's the Wachowskis.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like a suit went to the Wachowskis and was like, "Hey, here's a boatload of money. Make another Matrix movie." Well, there's nowhere to take the story. I don't care. Make another Matrix movie. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you heard me. I said make me more money.
I
don't want to go into...
I'm going to take this boatload of money and make the biggest fuck you that has ever been committed to film. Sounds like what it was to me.
No, not quite. Because there's also this whole thing with Trinity and Neo trying to get Trinity out, and I don't feel like the movie is trying to just give a middle finger. I feel like at one point it was, but then they try very hard to be sincere with the rest of the movie, and it just falls flat.
Okay. Now it sounds like I'm going to make the biggest fuck you that has ever been committed to film. 3 months into production, they're like, I don't want to make something shitty. Like, yeah, fuck the suits, but I don't want to make something shitty. I want to at least try. So they started trying partway through. Like, it's when you write a story and you go in writing a story to make fun of other stories that are shit and just kind of wrote tropes that have been done thousands of times in incredibly boring ways, and you're just making fun of that, but then it turns into an actual story without you realizing it, and you're like, oh, shit, now I have to try. But no matter how hard you try, you can't get away from the story's roots of it being kind of a shitty joke.
Yeah, I can kind of get that.
I haven't seen the film, so I can't really comment with any worth, but that's what it's coming across as from how you're describing it, which is a really shitty way to get a take. Right,
I don't... Yeah? Sasha?
What?
You sounded like you were going to say something.
I had to move my mic a little bit. But okay. Yeah, I was saying I would believe that. That sounds accurate. If this was set out to be a giant middle finger, and then professional pride took over.
It's like the outside world is cool because, I guess, mild spoilers for this movie that's been out for like a month already. The whole thing is...
Minutes.
What was that?
I said skip ahead like 3 minutes if you care.
Yeah. The outside world is one in which, because of Neo's sacrifice at the end of Matrix 3, a lot of the machines now work with people. They work together. But now there's a faction that specifically is like, no, we still need more power. We're going to use people for power. And the reason why we even got the entire thing with that split factions was because essentially Neo caused a civil war amongst the machines. And so some side with us, some side against us, and so then you have this whole kind of intermix of this is a whole city that was built by the hands of human and machine. And it's a very cool setting. And there's this sort of conflicts that you can explore there that they don't at all. Because they spend no time. They spend the time there talking to like one character, and then they're like, "But we have to go back because we have to get Trinity out of the Matrix."
Okay, well, you know what the explanation for that is?
What?
Uh, Suit says, "Hey, make another Matrix movie." Creator's like, "Fuck you." Oh wait, you give me a boatload of money. All right, I'll make a giant fuck you. Oh wait, no. I want to actually make something good. Here's a good idea. The world's gonna have changed from after the third film because machines and humans are a little not peaceful but closer. So maybe we could explore that. Exec comes back. Hey, you know what people hated in the second and third Matrix films? The real world. Put more stuff in the Matrix.
It sucks because there's some cool ideas there that I would actually like to see explored. And the only reason that exists in the story is to be like, "Hey Neo, your actions had meaning." That's it. That's the only real reason that is there, is to show Neo that even though the Matrix is still up, his actions had meaning. By the way, any of the old characters that you remember from the Matrix, they were purged. If they were one of those just programs in the Matrix, they're purged.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't enjoy that character. Too bad. They're dead, and they never existed.
I'm struggling to remember anyone that actually mattered who was in the Matrix.
Oracle. The Oracle.
Didn't she? Well, the actress died. I don't remember whether the character died. I think it was implied.
And I think there were other characters as well. But it's been a while since I've seen the other Matrix movies. But essentially, they really struggled to get actors back for this.
I imagine even if they did, they look different by now. Like, makeup can only do so much. It's been how many years since
you can actually do CG and make it realistic for the characters to be younger now. That is a proven technology at this point.
De-aging is a thing.
Yeah, and it's gotten good enough that it's not Uncanny Valley anymore.
Yeah, it can go wonky, but most of the time it's done. Like, if you're going to put the money in to do that, then it's done well enough that you barely even notice.
Well, basically, I'm just going to ignore this movie exists. It ended at the third movie.
In fairness, most people ignore that the third movie exists. So,
you know. Yeah, I can ignore that too, but to be honest, it's too ingrained in my head.
All I can remember of the second movie is the fucking Smith's fight scene. That's literally it.
Yeah, it would be great if there was a cool fight scene in this movie.
I'm pretty sure the majority of third movie was that fight or the lead up to it, so it makes sense. That's all you remember.
Aside from that, New Year's was pretty great. As in, I just stayed up late, ate snacks, and then my friend Don figured out how we could play Dokapon Kingdom together, even though like us and Shetty, who's in the Discord, could play Dokapon online via using Parsec and an emulator.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys got that figured out.
So I stayed up like all day. Like I stayed up to like 8 a.m. playing Dokapon Kingdom.
Okay.
And man, that is such a mean game. I love it. For those who don't know, Dokapon Kingdom is think of like if you combine Mario Party and an RPG, and then add in cruelty.
So Mario Party and an RPG.
No, I mean actual, like, I'm going to cast this field magic on you that you can't escape from to paralyze you to take away your turns.
So real number crunchy.
Yeah, or like, I'm going to just cast this magic from afar and kill you. Or if I land on the same space with you, we enter into an RPG battle and I can just murder you and take your stuff, take your towns that you got, or I can change your name, your player name, or I can draw all over your face, or I can change your hairstyle, take away your hairstyle, take away your sword or your shield. Just rob you.
Just that a lot of that sounds really petty, but that sounds great.
You can be really petty in this game. Because the game hates you. And it makes you want to hate other people. You can land on a space where somebody will just, if you lose Rochambeau, she will take away like half of your money, I think. And if you're in debt, for example, you can go attack another player, kill them, and then force your debt on them.
Oh, interesting.
Or like if you have any other sort of bad item, you can go submit items to the king and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to stop this church and submit this local item to the king. But if you find something really awful, you can submit it and say somebody else sent it and sabotage them. There's an item called Cunning Disguise. You can go rob a store and then pretend that you're somebody else so that they get in trouble and have a bounty set on them. Then go kill them and collect the bounty. It is a brutal, mean game.
It seems like a game run on pettiness and spite. So
It's
I'm
great.
into it.
Plus, it's like an RPG, so there's like a whole job system, and you master jobs, you unlock more jobs and specific actions and skills and everything. But yeah, no, I'm addicted to that game right now. I can't wait to play with my friends later on with more Dokapon, because that is a game that it's a long game, but I think right now we've entered into a peaceful era. I don't know how long that will last.
I guess you'll find out.
Because you have quest objectives, and there's a constant ranking telling you who's first, second, third, or fourth. And in particular, to go rescue the princess, I paralyzed both of my other players, ran in, rescued the princess, and then they had to chase me down, and they were going to try to kill me to get the princess instead and bring her home. But yeah, it's fun with 3 players because it feels like at any moment it can become 1 versus 2.
So I mentioned a while back I'd been rereading Forged Destiny, and that was literally the example they give for why adventure overpopulation is a bad idea. Because if you take on a quest to rescue someone, it will eventually turn into a series of kidnappings.
Yeah, basically. Oh, it's fun though. It's just like I got the prince, so I can get out now. Stop him! Don't let him get away.
Okay, fair enough. I had not considered that aspect of like adventurous stuff, which is funny because occasionally it does come up in like RPGs and shit. That, like, yeah, someone will try and stop you from doing the quest so they can do it instead. But you don't consider if there were like 9 different groups trying to complete that quest.
That's Dokapon. And if somebody is in 3rd place for too long, they can become a Darkling, and essentially become a wandering boss that will pretty much instant kill anybody who is not of a particularly high level. Like you have to be really, really powerful, like late game, to fight a Darkling. So they're just going to murder you, and they can destroy your stuff and take your towns. And because every time you beat a monster in a town, you get towns. There's like a monopoly aspect of it's all about getting money. And they can basically do a reset and just cause all towns throughout the world to be populated by monsters, so that all your progress is basically erased, except for whatever castles you may have earned between quests, but then they could possibly steal a castle, so... It is pettiness and spite. And I love it.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, that's me. What about you, Cecil?
Okay, sorry, I had a yawn. So I saw Spider-Man. That was nice.
Yeah, he's the man.
I really appreciate that Marvel has learned how to do fan service right. There were a couple of lines, in particular, Norman Osborn says the scientist meme that was a little stilted, a little jammed in, but for the most part, all of the fan service was very seamless.
Scientist meme?
I'm something of a scientist myself. He says those words in the movie.
I don't remember. I don't know that meme.
Oh, fair enough. Well, there's quite a few Spider-Man memes, and they get in a lot of them, and that's fine. I enjoyed that part. It was nice. I'm really glad that I was not lied to when I was told there was 2 after-credit scenes. I think Zero might have been the one to tell me that. I'm actually not sure.
I did mention when I talked about before that there were 2 after-credit scenes.
Yeah, then I've been told by at least 2 different people then. So I'm glad I wasn't lied to, because the people sitting next to me in the theater were getting up, and I mentioned, hey, there's a second one. You don't have to get up yet. And they thanked me and sat back down. And the whole time the credits were playing, I'm like, I hope I didn't lie to these people. It was that fun little social anxiety. It was great.
Yeah.
Fine though.
I
was the second one.
Those moments where you're like, if this goes wrong for me, then it's going to ruin the rest of my week.
Yeah. And it's such a minor thing. It's like, oh no, I wasted 5 minutes, but I would think about it for the next week.
Yeah.
It's great. But no, it paid off. There was 2. And man, it was good. So that was fun. I watched the only episode of Boba that is out, the House of...
yeah, I saw that.
Really good. Although I think I said it in the Discord already, but like, you know that meme where a boss turns into your teammate and they suddenly become useless?
Yep.
Little bit of that. A little bit of that with Boba. Got his ass kicked. So that was a thing.
I think the explanation for that is like he's weakened at the start of the show.
Got eaten by a giant sand vagina.
Dude literally just walks out of that, but also like walks out of because we go present day, do flashbacks, but present like after.
Yeah, the episode does start with him in a Bacta tank.
Yeah,
which I assume is kind of a comfort thing since he is a clone, and they spent a long time in Bacta tanks. I didn't really get the sense that he was injured, and he was actually in there to heal. It was just that's how he sleeps.
I'm pretty sure that's what Bacta tanks are for.
Sleeping, or do you mean healing?
Healing.
It says healing session suspended when he gets out, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually healing from anything. Like I said, I don't know if that's a comfort thing. He just prefers to sleep in a Bacta tank. I don't know.
Also, Boba Fett wasn't a clone, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. That was the deal with Fett. Was
he was a clone, but he was raised like a son.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be a thing with the back to tanks for him anyway, because he was just like, he grew up as a kid.
He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a soldier clone. Yeah. Well, he technically was, but like he didn't spend his life as a soldier. So I don't know. I hope they expand on that and explain why he is in one regularly, or at least implied to be in one regularly. But who knows? Not a lot happened in the episode, but enough did that I'm very interested in seeing more. Let's see.
I remain checked out of Star Wars. I was fine with the original trilogy, and that's all I need.
That's fair. I mean, the reason I'm so excited about things like The Mandalorian and this and the Book of Boba Fett, or is it the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was book or chapter or volume or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, as I mentioned in the past, I fucking hate the Force. So more things that are about the Star Wars universe that don't have to do with the Force, I'm all into.
It's small scale. You get to see a lot of the actual interesting parts of the universe, and it's consistently been good so far. So,
yeah.
Also, they now have nothing to do with the sequel trilogy because that's non-canon.
Is it actually?
It's not that it's not canon.
It's an alternate canon now. They have declared as much. Yeah. Like, yeah, okay, never mind.
They declared the movie's alternate canon or the show's alternate canon?
I'm pretty sure the films. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna double check
because that means that one of them is basically in universe third party at this point.
I'm double checking. I'm pretty sure I heard something about that. Here we go. Yeah, Disney Plus 2 reportedly retcon the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
It couldn't have happened to a better trilogy.
Yeah, so allegedly this is happening.
But like, come on.
I don't think Disney is ever going to acknowledge anything like that. They're just going to keep going, and if people accuse them of it, they'll just shrug.
What you know what they're going to do is they're going to keep making things that take place before when that trilogy would have happened.
Yeah, I mean they're going to milk that.
They're going to
as long as they can.
Basically post prequel Star Wars before they started the sequel trilogy thing. Just put everything between 3 and 4. So now it's just put everything between 6 and 7.
Yeah. Put everything after 6. Just never get to 7. Don't go to 7.
Yeah, just never get there.
Or go back to the ancient Old Republic past.
Or go to after 6 and have a scene with Luke Skywalker meditating with the Force, and he has a Force premonition, and it's the entire sequel trilogy. It's just like, and he's better not do that.
He's like, nah, fam, I'm okay. I'm getting off this planet later.
Yeah.
Nice blue milk.
That is the darkest timeline. Not going to do that.
Man, it's so good that the dark side isn't clouding the Force anymore, so that we can do this and avoid these terrible, terrible, terrible futures.
In fact, there's this whole First Order thing. I can go stop that right now. Let me go stop that right now before it becomes too dangerous.
So yeah, they have decades to play with. So I think they can milk this for a while.
Yeah. Sorry, JJ.
I don't even really blame him. The fact that I don't blame the other guy that made the second in the trilogy either. Just the downside of having 2 different directors.
I mean, I feel like people do blame the second director a lot because his whole ethos was, kind of, fuck whatever the other guy was going for. I'm going to do my own thing. Seemed to be the attitude.
that would be a fair accusation. You are the second part of a trilogy. You kind of have to go with the flow, and choosing to intentionally not do that is just terrible. Just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
Well, whatever. None of it matters anymore, thank God. Like it's not like they're gonna try and do sequels to the sequels. Like that would be a disaster. Like, what are they gonna bring Palpatine back again?
I wouldn't doubt it. They seem to be stuck on dynasty characters, as I've heard them called. Everyone is related to everyone in this massive incestuous garbage.
Well, that's kind of what you had to do at the time because there were only like 6 Force users, and most of them were Force ghosts.
To an extent, yeah, but then they solved that with Rey. They just brought in someone that wasn't. She just had Force powers because that's how the Force works.
Yeah.
And then they decided to make her related.
Yeah. Remember when fucking the fuck's his name? Adam Driver? Kylo Ren. That's the one. When he's like, hey, Rey, you're literally no one. Your parents were no one. No one cared about you. You were nothing special. That was movie 2, if memory serves. And
yeah.
3.
And then the message was, but you can be. You have power. Become important.
Yeah.
No,
you're just
important.
Fucking
Surprise.
old man spooge that grew up.
Yeah. Ugh. Palpatine goo. Sheev goo.
Ugh. Why is that worse?
I don't know. The first name Sheev is so bad. In the best way. So yeah, that I believe that is the extent of my watching experience. One last thing. I watched a 7.5 hour review of the Resident Evil games, the collection of games, like all of them.
Like
it was really good.
0 through 8.
And the side games, including the weird
God,
online only ones.
Did they do the gun games?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got like a 5-minute block each. So they're meaningless, basically.
Oh, man. I have some oddly fun memories of Gun Survivor or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. One thing that was really interesting was you guys played Resident Evil 4, right?
I have seen like 6 Let's Plays of it, so I might as well have. That's not true.
Gotcha.
But, I know the deal with it, yes.
So, you know the right hand of Salazar, the bug?
Yeah.
You fight it in that big, like, basically sewer hallway.
Yeah.
So the guy doing the reviews was very upfront about the fact that he's not very good at games. He's just not coordinated enough to be good at them, which is fine. I respect that. I mean, I respect his ability to and desire to still play games anyway. Yeah. So the thing is, he played the games by keeping a rocket launcher in his experience or in his case at all times, and he would that's how he beat bosses. What he would buy a rocket launcher and just kill things with it, and then he'd buy another one after the boss fight. So Fair enough. Didn't realize you couldn't beat the bug in the sewers without a rocket launcher. You just freeze him and you shoot him with a magnum and you kill him. But he didn't know that because he'd never played the game relying on skill like that. So he chalked that up to being a benefit of keeping a rocket launcher with you, as opposed to just he thought it was unbeatable, basically. So that was a nice little detail that stood out to me of everyone's experience being a little bit different.
That's true.
And it did inspire me to play Resident Evil 4 again, because I do own it digitally on the PS4. And I beat it on professional, basically overnight. I died 38 times. It was rough. But hey, I got the Mega Buster, or whatever the fuck it's called.
I can't believe I played 1, 2, 3 Code Veronica, because that's a mainline entry, and then 5. I played 5 to 100% completion. I never played 4.
How did you get 5 to 100%?
By playing the shit out of it? How else?
Oh. Well, okay, I tried that. And on the hardest difficulty, I can't beat the Gigante in the Jeep because Shiva is useless. And I can't do that fight myself on the hardest difficulty because he just tears through your health bar.
It was many years ago, so I do not remember, I'm afraid. But I did do it.
Ah. Fair enough.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I considered just getting my brother's help, but that boss fight solo is rough. Bad. I'm sure it's theoretically possible. You are given dodge windows. They just last for about 0.5 seconds.
Yeah, I played that game when I was like, God, when did that come out? I would literally have to work it out by the release date of that game to figure out how old I was, but I was a teenager, so I still had reaction time. Is how that works. That was the me that played Devil May Cry 3 on DMD mode. Like, I was on my shit at the time, so...
Fair enough. Those days are over.
Oh yeah.
Man, I can feel it.
I struggle with normal now. Fucking... Ugh.
Being old sucks sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, wow. The other thing was I beat Dishonored 1 to the point where I wanted to move on. So I tried Dishonored 2. And oh boy, is that a shit game. And I don't mean anything about the game, the story, the gameplay. Well, a little bit of the gameplay. Anything, except for the movement. The movement is bad. Have you guys ever played a game where you look around and you move the stick and then your character starts looking? And then you let go of the stick and your character continues looking and it like slows to a stop.
What?
It's like you're controlling a turret. So when you stop, the momentum keeps going and you look a little bit further than what you intended to. And it takes a second for the movement to start up when you press the analog stick. It's this weird relic of the past that a lot of games had that, or at least some games, in the kind of cinematic Red Dead 2 style of movement.
Oh, where they wanted it to feel realistic. More like a real person.
Yeah.
Instead of a camera on, like, you know, like a camera being controlled, basically.
Yes. And I'm so glad that era is over because I straight up cannot play Dishonored 2 on the console because the movement is so bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
It's just unplayable. I can't aim where I'm trying to, and trying to like keep up with an opponent in melee when they sidestep out of your view and you have to turn to look at them. I either can't turn in time to parry or dodge the next attack, or I look past them and then just eat shit as they stab me in the side, the other side that I have exposed myself. I don't even know if there's a fix for it. I assume there's a mod to get rid of that and even out the movement on computer, but I obviously can't access those on the PS4. So that kind of sucked. I really was kind of excited to actually play that one because I realized that I had never actually beaten Dishonored 2. I think I played it a little while and then something else stole my attention. So, yeah, that was my disappointment with that game.
Yeah. Oh well. Play Prey instead.
I'll probably watch a Let's Play at some point. And I actually can't play Prey.
Oh.
Or rather, it's boring to me.
Oh, well. Prey is literally the Dishonored style of gameplay loop, but done well. But okay.
It is. I mean, I don't like respawning enemies. That was the thing. I scour the environment for everything in it, and then if enemies respawn but ammo doesn't, it's the Metro Exodus problem.
Prey enemies don't respawn unless one, you move to a different region of the station, which like giant, enormous regions of the station. They're big maps. And two, the story has progressed significantly. Like, you have done a thing that has made the situation get worse because time has progressed and the infestation has gotten worse. So maybe like 2 or 3 minor Typhon would come back, but otherwise it's just still the same.
Well, yes, and they come back in a future part, especially like the main hub area. That area gets repopulated pretty regularly because because story reasons, which is fine, but ammo doesn't come back.
Well, yeah, I mean, the point is, once you've scoured that place clear, don't spend time there anymore. Just go where you need to go.
Yeah, maybe I got so focused on the finding the lost crew members, which is probably meaningless. I don't think I needed to do that at all, but it was fun to me to track them down.
Is the thing that is a that is a thing you can do for ending stuff.
Interesting. Fair enough. I think I got maybe 2/3 of the way through that game, and then I just lost interest. I just wasn't fun for whatever reason. I don't know.
You could try the there is a roguelike version of that game that they released, Moon Crash.
Interesting.
Yeah, where it's basically, I think it's a simulation. Like, you go into a simulation of a Typhon infestation in progress on a moon base, and you have to do various objectives for each run and escape, and it gets progressively more difficult, and there are different like character builds that you can go into each run with, and they have different skill sets and procedural generation of some of the resources that you can find on the map and things like that. So it's sort of a similar thing. Like, it still has the respawning enemies of a sort, but it's more like, it's less of just respawning enemies, more like, holy shit, the situation is going bad really, really fast. You need to get in, get out, kind of thing.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to look into that. That might be exactly kind of what I need to enjoy that loop.
Yeah, I think that was a free upgrade. It was a free DLC, I think.
Probably. I would have to look into it. Even if it's like, even if it's like a full $15, I already own the game, so I don't need to buy it again or anything.
Price. Okay, it's $8 apparently.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's $8 on Steam currently. I don't know about on other stores. It's 60% off. So it's $20 full price.
Ah, gotcha.
I was mistaken. I could have sworn it was free, but whatever.
I appreciate weird DLC like that.
It was an interesting idea.
Speaking of weird DLC, I guess the Far Cry 6 DLC is all 100% side content.
Yeah, it's all the villain stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so far there's a roguelike with Voss, and something with Pagan Min, and then something with one of the seeds, I assume. I hope they're good, but I honestly have no idea. I don't really want to spend $45 for something that isn't the game. I might get the Pagan Min one, depending on what it is, because I mean it's Pagan Min.
Everyone loves Pagan Min. Everyone loved
great.
Voss back in the day, but not so much anymore.
I didn't. I just found him annoying.
People liked Voss when he was the bad guy and not just a flunky.
No, that's fair. Yeah, he did kind of. Yeah, he kind of lost importance a little bit. I always forget that he wasn't actually the main villain of that game.
Yeah, you kill him like halfway through, and then he is replaced with a villain who is nowhere near as interesting or charismatic.
No, not nearly as charismatic.
Ubisoft.
I think that's everything I did. Oh, did I mention I saw The Witcher 2?
I think you said you watched what was... I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I saw The Witcher 2. It was great. It was really good.
Season 2. I
understand why people complain. But what was that? Go ahead.
I've seen a few episodes of it. I think I'm like halfway through the season.
I can see why book people are complaining. I get it, but I enjoyed it. Plot holes and all.
Yeah. Book people and game people are complaining, but that's what you get when you do an adaptation.
Yeah.
Book people complained about the games too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. They changed so much. It's fine.
I didn't read the books. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. There's a animated series on Netflix called Shadow of the Wolf or something like that. There's an animated Witcher movie, and I fully recommend that.
Oh.
It's the story of Vesemir and the sacking of Kaer Morhen. So you actually get to see that all happening.
That's actually really interesting.
It makes me sad that the Witcher series is live action. And that sucks because the actors are doing such an amazing job. That is hands down the best thing I could say about season 2 is the actors are giving it 150%.
Yeah, oh shit. What's his name? Superman.
Henry Cavill?
That's the one. He's like a fan of
Witcher.
He's a super fan. It's kind of awesome. He's
great.
100% down for it.
But the animated movie, the combat is just really good because you have the freedoms of animation to work with instead of being constrained by live action. Although they did do a really good job within the limitations for combat stuff. So
I'll have to watch that show at some point.
I would recommend it. Yeah, it's good. I would maybe get a timeline guide for season 1, as it does get quite confusing.
Yeah, they do the out of order thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they got I think it's 3 or 4 timelines they're balancing, and it all comes together eventually. But oh boy, is it confusing! Because it doesn't give you hey, 15 years ago, at the start of every scene. It doesn't give you a timeline of when events happen. You just have to assume based on what's happening. And it's a little hard to keep track of. But yeah, that's my recommendation is if you haven't seen or even weren't aware of the animated Witcher movie on Netflix, hey, check it out. It's real good. And that's my week.
Cool. Okay. My thing. So I did play some video games for bits and pieces. I started playing Racketeer again for some reason. I don't know why.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. I've never finished it. Even though that is the probably easiest part of it, is to finish it. I actually learned that I was being stupid with how I was playing it because it's designed to maybe not be finishable in the first run.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot things carry over if you fail.
Yeah, if you it's Dead Rising. If you fail, it lets you keep a lot of your progress, so you can just start from a better position. That was disheartening when I learned that, and I was like, oh, all those times that I completely yeah, but oh well. Maybe I'll finish it this time. Probably not. Anyway,
You should though. It's genuinely a really good game.
yeah. I mean, I haven't not had fun with it, so yeah.
That's fair.
Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning, which is still an amazing title. I think I talked about this on the last episode of like starting to play this again, or I mentioned I wanted to.
I believe so. Yeah, it's been brought up.
Yeah, and I have for 26 hours.
Damn.
Still haven't left the first group of regions yet.
There's so much to do.
Yeah. I ran into the same problem I did the first time, which is it gets to be a slog. And you realize, hey, scouring the map for all of the chests and stuff that are there is a massive waste of time. Don't do that. Just do the quests and then move on, is pretty much how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not supposed to find every single chest. You just kind of pick a direction and go.
Yeah. I've maintained that the map is awful, and they really should have done a better job with the map.
Oh, fully agreed. It's bad.
Like, the way they've done it is there is the places you can go that are colored a sort of yellowish brown color, and there is the water that you can go, which is blue, and there is everywhere you can't go, which is a solid black. There are no visible borders to where the actual world ends, where the map ends. So basically there is a lot of guesswork where you're looking for places that you can go and can't go, and it's not easy to tell the places that you've already explored because the fog of war type thing that they have on the map, where it, reveals stuff as you explore on the map, like reveal sections of the map, there's no borders on those either. So the very edge of the map and the edge of where you've explored up to is identical. That is awful map design. That is
the only differentiating factor is if you've already done that side content, then you can recognize, oh, I've probably been here before.
Yeah. You have to have learned the area. Do the side content. Yeah. It's not good. But, no game is perfect. And that one had some flaws when it came out, let alone now, like 10, 12 years later. So, I don't know. I played a bit of Rebel Galaxy again, because I was in the mood for some mindless space stuff of, like, shooting pirate spaceships and such, and trading and such.
Space.
Yeah. I remembered that being a fun game. I was wrong. Yep. Yep. Half hour of progress, and you just fly. You're flying to a mission that should be really easy enemies, and you get dropped out of warp because there is another group of enemies that are in the way, and they are enough to literally destroy you without much of a fight at all. Like, just random encounter on the map, you dead now. There is no soft save, there is no anything. it goes back to the last time you saved, and the last time you saved is always the last station that you visited. So half hour of progress completely wiped out.
That's rough.
And that's when I stopped playing that game because fuck you and that game design. Holy shit. Like, I would have accepted losing all my money and the resources I had on that ship more than I would have completely wiping out everything I just did, so I had to do it again. So yeah, that was a less than fun experience, which led me to looking for another game that was of similar type, but not shit. And that was a fairly fruitless endeavor until I remembered that there was a game that people on another Discord server have been talking about a lot called Star Sector, which is a fully independent game. And by fully independent, I mean it's not on Steam, it's not on Epic Games, it's not on GOG. They have their own website. You purchase it through them, through whatever payment method you choose, and they will send you an email of their fucking activation code for the game when they get around to it. Because it is 4 guys that are doing literally everything when it comes to that game, including marketing, development, and sales. Kind of impressive. And that is a very similar thing to what the fuck was the name? I keep thinking Rogue Legacy, and it's not that. It's Rebel Galaxy. That was it. It's kind of like that, only top down, and you can control a fleet of ships. And the combat is incredibly complicated, or it feels it when you're doing the tutorials. So it's a good thing that you don't actually have to do it, and you can set it to automatic, and you can just do strategic decisions for how you fight battles. But what's interesting about it is how intricate the world, for lack of a better term, like the galaxy is in the setting. Like there is like a dozen different factions with wildly diverging interests and priorities who will react to you very differently. And the world, again, galaxy, universe will react to how you do things, like the things that you do. So, for example, you happen to run across a blueprint for a really cool ship. Now, you have that blueprint, which is great, because it means you can copy that blueprint and then use that copy to make ships like that of your own, provided you have the industrial base to do it. But then because you can copy that blueprint, you can sell the original to someone else, to an actual faction. And the thing about that, though, is it's civilization. If you sell a technology to someone, that someone now has that technology and will be able to build those ships too.
Yep. I was really hoping that was going to be the case. Like, if you sell this, you'll start fighting it.
Yeah. So, like, all of the factions act on their own interests, so it's not like a static world like, Rebel Galaxy, where it's just, hey, the pirates probably hate you and everyone else is kind of okay unless you shoot them. And that is the static world forever. It's like all of them have their own interests in this game and will fight to enforce those interests. So there's like a religious sect that is completely, what's the word for just hates technology? I know there's a word for it. Fuck. It's going to bother me.
I'm drawing a blank, but I know what you mean.
But yeah, so that is one faction that just really spurns any technology, which is interesting for a spacefaring race. Faction, rather. So they will just harass anyone that has worthwhile technology, and rather than integrate it, they will try and destroy it. There are, like I say, pirate factions, obviously. There is military factions. There are corporate sort of regimented factions of like, hey, we do business and we do whatever it takes to do business kind of thing. So, yeah, it's really in depth, and there's a pretty decent sized modding scene that's added a bunch of factions and functions to the game on top of that, and it's one of those sort of games where the community is helping build the game while the game is being built, in terms of mods and in terms of like actually being there, because it's an alpha project technically, in kind of the same way that Minecraft was back in the day. Of like, hey, there's a full game here that you can just play, and it's full, and it's finished, it's fine. But we're still adding stuff to it and fine-tuning it, so we're calling it alpha anyway. And it's just like, it's how early access kind of stuff should be, where the game is being built with the thoughts and preferences of the people that are playing it in mind, kind of thing. Oh, I really wish I was better at this kind of game, because I'm not good at it. But, for what it is and what's there, I'm super into it so far. So, So that was a cool thing to actually, like, start getting into. Like, I haven't gotten very far into it yet, so that's a thing.
I've definitely experienced that before, where, like, I wish I was better at this, so I could be a part of it.
I'm not good at, like... It's a little like if Space Pirates and Zombies was more complicated. Which, that is a fun game too. Like, Space Pirates and Zombies, I very much recommend that game. It was fairly straightforward in how it controlled and how it would play. And because of that, it was very fun. But if it was any more complicated than it was, like Star Sector is, I wouldn't be able to play it. Because it's too many things in my head at once and I can't figure them out. I can't keep them straight in my head, kind of thing. And I wish I was better at the strategic combat too, because I just generally suck at strategy. I'm not good at it. So.
Yeah, my strategy is usually just get bigger numbers.
Yeah, same.
The allure of big numbers is irresistible.
Yeah.
But the gaming designing a game, enunciate, like that can turn into a circle jerk nightmare. But so I hope they're developing it well, and it's a good game, not just a good game for the people who are playing it now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the games I played, and also I listened to a lot of the Devil May Cry soundtrack for reasons stated earlier in this episode, and you know what else was running on New Year's Eve?
What?
A 21-hour live stream of a highlight compilation of the best friends playing all of the David Cage games.
Really?
Yep.
I had no idea.
So Taco Funbox is a cool channel that is mostly just compilations of the best friends. And he has done one for every playthrough they've done of the David Cage games. Starting from the first Heavy Rain run, then fucking Indigo Prophecy for you Americans. Then, bear with me. Then Beyond Two Souls, I've forgotten her name, which is good because I believe it's a dead name now.
Ellen Page?
Yeah. The then Ellen Page. It's Elliot Page now.
Yeah. Yeah, now I couldn't remember her current name.
Yeah. Then the second run of Heavy Rain, which, wow, that game did not translate well to PS4. Then Omicron.
Wait, did they do a second Impact equivalent of Heavy Rain?
They streamed it.
Oh.
Yeah, they streamed it and had Wooly play it.
I don't think I saw that. I will have to go back. I have actually been rewatching old Best Friend stuff. So
he got mad playing that game because the controls do not work on PS4, apparently.
Those controls are really finicky. Like, you have to do them exactly, and a lot of them are, quick time. So...
the Omicron highlight reel is 5 hours long on its own.
I mean, you can just the whole thing is a highlight reel. Every second was gold.
Yeah,
great.
Could be. The Saga of the Door was quite possibly my favorite thing I've ever seen of them, and then of course the double compilation of their 2 playthroughs of Become Human. Detroit Become Human. That's the one. That's the game.
Yeah, Become Human.
Yeah. The one where they were kind of not enthused about it at best, except for the time they were enthused in the wrong way, and then the second time when they loved the shit out of it because they had the gun every time.
Yeah. I don't know if they were just having team issues. I know that was one of the last Let's Plays they had, but I don't know about the first one.
The first playthrough of it was because they were discovering the elements of the game for the first time. The We Have a Dream and such. Yeah, boy.
But it's not about racism.
It's not about racism.
Not.
It's not. Shut up. It's not. And then the second one, they're like, fuck it, we don't care. We're just going to shoot everyone and have fun with it. Which turned out unintentionally awesome.
Turns out that's just the way to play that game. It's just choose gun. Wake up every day and choose gun.
Yeah.
Big gun, yes.
So yeah. That is a thing that I am now 10 hours into watching.
Jesus. How long is it?
Like I say, it's 21 hours and 6 minutes and 12 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah. He has a lot of these compilations. I believe the God of War 1 in total is about 6 hours.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. That had quite a few parts, if I remember right.
Yeah. It is a good channel to find videos where you can just put them on in the background and listen to people screaming at each other and being assholes. It's pretty good. Yeah. I could never get into the Best Friends when they were still going and just watching their videos normally, but the highlight reels are amazing.
They were, I mean, what you described, if you throw a video on in the background and you just listen to it, that's basically what it was. And then if something interesting was happening, you would kind of recognize it by the sudden uptick of excitement, and then you would pay attention a little bit.
Yeah, it I guess, at the time, when I tried watching Best Friends, it was, in the early days of Let's Plays. PewDiePie was doing it before anyone else. Well, not before anyone else, but before most people were doing it. But then, there was the Game Grumps, and if you want to really scrape the bottom of the barrel, Tobuscus was doing it.
Yeah, I mean, his Happy Wheel series was genuinely very fun to watch.
Mostly because of the content rather than because of him, but yes.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, that was in the time when they were videos and I wanted to watch videos and not just have them on in the background and do other stuff. So when it came to the ones that weren't really entertaining enough on their own to just completely hold your attention, I just not wanted to watch them. It's a video. I want to watch a video. I didn't want to just listen to it in the background and not have any context for what the people were saying. The most annoying parts of Game Grumps back in the day to me were the parts where they just didn't really have anything to say about the game they were playing. I'm just shooting the shit. Like, okay, I don't care though.
And now that's the best part, is them just being themselves around the game when it's in slow moments. At least for me, anyway.
I mean,
I enjoy
that's
their
the same thing of like, hey, just put it on in the background and don't actually pay attention to what they're doing in it. They're glorified podcasts, but that's a thing I can enjoy now, is what I'm saying, I guess.
Oh yeah, totally.
So yeah, that is probably a thing I will continue, quote unquote, watching while editing 7 chapters to go out today. So that's...
I still can't believe you decided to undertake this undertaking.
Because Virgil.
That's a lot. I suppose.
Literally because Virgil.
That feels like a motivator rather than a inspiration, but okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a motivator. I felt motivated, so yeah.
You're going to seek more power in having a more complete story? Because that's where your power comes from?
Yeah. My power comes from my follow account.
You're not wrong.
Well, in fairness, if that was true, I'd be continuing Whitest Man in Skyrim, which I'm not. So that's what it is. So.
Has that been your most popular story, quote unquote? Or
I haven't checked in years, so I'm gonna have a look now and see where I stand. Probably quite a few spots lower than where I was, which was, I believe, second place in the entire category.
I wish there was an easier to track metric for QQ. I suppose like likes and
there is a notable members section that has most likes, I believe, for posts, but it's not especially accurate. Like, if you go by ratio of posts to likes, then you've obviously got a very different list. Like, the most likes is going to be the ones that post like 1,000-word chapters and do that every day and such.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Okay. Remember when I said I was second?
Are you first now?
I'm apparently first now.
Huh. Interesting.
That's not going to change my mind about writing more of it, but that's interesting.
Good to know. I guess. Can you see the number 2? And what they wrote?
Number 2 is it's a ship fic between the Dragonborn and Alduin.
Oh.
Human Alduin, I'm going to clarify.
It's
less weird.
Okay. I mean, either way, it's still weird.
A little weird, but Yeah. So I am comfortably in first place in that category, which is cool, but it's a shame that no one actually voted for me to continue that story on the Patreon poll, which is where it would have mattered. So, not that it would have made me happy about it, because, oh boy, writing that story became like trying to draw blood from a stone after a while. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's just proof you've made stories since then that have gotten people's attention more.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. That's pretty much all I got, though. Sorry?
That's like someone saying the band's earliest work is their best. It's like, yeah, that's a nice sentiment, but it's kind of insulting for all their work since then.
God. Nothing horrifies me more than when someone sees my name and says, "Oh, hey, that guy that wrote the Persona 4 figure." Oh, God, kill me now. Oh, God.
It's the writing equivalent of your baby pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I will. If I ever get the chance, I will absolutely introduce you like that.
Oh. Was it you that told me that someone's writing a sequel to that shit?
I think so. Yeah, that's since fallen apart, but yeah.
Has it? Oh, that's
I mean, I haven't heard anything
that's
about
a
it.
shame. That's what that is.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I don't want to wish people ill on their work. Like, okay, you want to write that?
But
That's fine. I support you 100%. Totally.
sounds like you're pushing a nail into your hand.
Yeah.
You say that?
100%. You go for it. You write the story you want to write.
Embrace creativity.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's I mean, it's technically January, but I don't think the thing's gone through. Has it?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, we'll do that next time then. But yeah, so I guess that's a podcast. Unless anyone's got anything to add, last minute.
No, I think we've been going for like 2.5 hours.
Hour and 45 according to the clock. Hour and 50 rather.
Damn, fair enough.
So yeah. Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2022. It's the same shit, but now the number has another 2 on it. Yeah. 2's up.
Yay. I hope it's better than last year.
Ha! It's cute.
I'm not asking for a lot, just some.
It doesn't really matter how much you're asking for. The world does not care.
Bye-bye.
So, link in the description for the Discord server that we're on, that people hang out, and link to the Patreon if you feel like it. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.